I'll be teaching you everything you need to know to take a store-bought pineapple crown all the way to a giant healthy plant that produces a massive fruit. I'm going to be sharing my secrets, tips, and tricks that I have learned over the past decade. But first, let's talk about the structure of the actual pineapple plant. Here is a section of my pineapple garden or pineapple patch. We have so many pineapples in this immediate area against the wall of the house. It actually creates a microclimate, but I've got all types, and right here in front of me are my first two fruits of the season. So excited because they are absolutely perfectly ripe, ready to be harvested, ready to be eaten. And let me show you the structure of a mother plant. So this is a mother plant. She has a flower stalk, a main flower stalk that comes from the leaf axis right in the middle, shoots up. This is actually a fairly short flower stalk, which is good because it keeps the fruit lower towards the ground and more stable. And so we have our beautiful fruit right here. You can see this literally looks exactly like a store-bought pineapple, very big. So the mother plant will never produce another fruit again. She only makes one in her life. So after I pop this fruit off, the mother plant is slowly going to be dying back. But you get slips and suckers, which are basically pups or pineapple babies. So a slip comes from the flower stalk, and we actually have a slip example right here. This piece right here is a brand new plant. That is a slip, and it's actually directly attached to the flower stalk. I can clearly see it on my side here. So we have a slip, then we also have other pups or baby pineapple plants called suckers. The suckers come from the leaf access point, and they can come from any point of the leaf access point. I've got multiple babies on all my plants already. A lot of people get babies after they pull the fruit off, but a lot of my plants are so healthy, they start to shoot off babies right away. So we have another baby plant right here. This is called a sucker. So the sucker comes from the leaf axis, and it again could come from any point of any of these leaves. And then the last baby that comes up is also called a ratoon sucker, and a ratoon sucker comes up from the root system down below ground. Now I don't have an example right here, but I will show you an example right here on a different plant of mine, and this shows you the exact example of what a ratoon sucker looks like. Here's another example. This is a very large plant, different variety I'm growing. This is called sugarloaf, aka white pineapple. Look at the beautiful leaves on it. You can tell it's different. But we have the two slips you can see on either side of the flower stalk growing, and then this piece that's on top of the fruit, we call that the crown. To start a brand new pineapple plant, you have 4 different ways. So what I just showed you, all those different parts. You have a slip that comes from the flower stalk. You have a sucker that comes from the leaf axis of the actual pineapple plant, the mother plant. Then you have ratoon suckers that come from underground, from the underground mother root system. And then number 4, you have the crown on top of your fruit right here. This fruit is 100% ready to pick. I like to have that slight little bit of green left right at the top. And there's a pineapple chart you can look at online, but generally once it goes totally golden, it becomes better for juicing and it starts to get fermented if you like to do it like that. For me, we're gonna eat it right now. So all you do to harvest your own pineapple, literally this is gonna snap right off the stalk. We're gonna take it, just bend, literally pop it right off. It just came off so easy. This is so heavy. You can smell the pineapple aroma. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you guys could smell this, but this is just going to be amazing. And a store-bought pineapple, I know they're cheap. Good, great, but I haven't bought a store-bought pineapple in years. Why? Because store-bought pineapples are commercially harvested underripe. Like they purposely pick them before they're ripe or before they even get to this color. Reason being, they're easier for transportation and longer shelf life. It's going to ripen, yes, but it will never get sweeter. It gets sweeter on the stalk of your mother plant. That's how you get a juicy plant and a juicy fruit. A homegrown pineapple does not even compare to store-bought. All right, I've decided at the same time we're gonna take this pineapple too. It's perfect ripeness. It has a sunburn on it, which can happen when we get crazy heat here. Oh, nice, perfect, snap. That came right off. There's a little bit of mealy bugs right there, but I'm gonna spray them right off. But you see that dark color, discoloration? It didn't get through the pineapple, but that is a sunburn, so I didn't wanna leave it out here any longer. So we have 2 juicy, beautiful pineapples to eat. A lot of you guys have asked me in my last pineapple video, what do I do with the mother plant once I've harvested the fruit? Well, we just talked about all those babies, and if you have a healthy plant, she's gonna make anywhere between 2 to 6 or 7 babies each. So I'm gonna take this slip right off right now and replant it. This is a perfect size. Anywhere between 6 and 12 inches long is a perfect size slip or sucker to take off the plants. And all I do is just literally get down by the base and bend downwards, and you see it just came with a complete snap off the plant. Literally just pulled right out, and that is a perfect size slip for us to plant and have a brand new pineapple plant, and in 18 months, we will have a fruit on it. And a lot of you guys have asked me in my other video, where do you get slips and suckers? Well, stores don't sell them. They only sell you the actual plants, like at Home Depot, and they usually sell you small plants, or you buy the fruit at the store. So if you're interested in a slip or sucker that fruits very fast, I do have some available. I'll link my information down below for you guys. And also, if any of you here are watching are big pineapple enthusiasts, I'm also looking for other varieties. I'm way into growing pineapples right now. So please reach out to me if you have any to sell or trade with me. So let me show you how to prep the crown to get ready for planting. And again, you could do this with your store-bought pineapple. Since I know a lot of you guys watching this probably won't have your own homegrown one. So a lot of people, you can cut it right here too at the base. A lot of people prefer to do it this way, the twisting method. So all you do is just get your hands around it, twist, pull it right out. It's actually perfect because you don't lose any meat doing it with the twist method. And in order to prep this and get this ready, we want to dry it out, AKA callus it over. So in order to do that, first thing I do is remove a bunch of the bottom leaves, because these bottom leaves are not going to be needed during the rooting process, during the drying process. But I like to remove between 4 and 6 set of the bottom leaves. They're not going to be needed anymore. And you see, as I'm starting to pull away, I can see dormant root nubs in between the middle of the leaves right there. You can clearly see some white nubs. So there's dormant roots already ready to go, and once we get it in the soil, it will totally start rooting out immediately. That should be good. All right, so I've removed a decent amount of leaves, as you can see on the ground here. Last step, what I like to do is I like to take a knife, and that little chunk of meat that's on the bottom, I like to fully remove that. It doesn't need to be there, and that's just gonna cause this crown to rot faster if you leave any piece of pineapple meat. And then I like to take my knife and just take little slivers off the side, and you see, exposing those dormant roots. Those are roots that want to grow. So I'm gonna do that all around the crown, and this is what I do to prep it. And again, it's going to callus. It's gonna sit out for 3 to 5 days. Now, it's not gonna be sitting in the direct sunlight. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend bringing it into the house, into room temperature, and just letting it callus and dry out. You're gonna be able to tell that this is gonna be fully calloused over, not wet anymore, and very dry. So if you have a store-bought crown and you have brown leaves and they're starting to die back quickly, that's okay, don't worry. As long as the center is still green, you're okay. But again, your store-bought pineapples have been picked long before my homegrown pineapple that was just picked right now. So that's why it stays green. So while we let this callus over, let me show you how to plant the slips and suckers. In order to plant the slip and sucker we just talked about, let's talk about my soil mixture. And over the last decade, I really feel like I have perfected the perfect soil mixture for pineapple plants in containers. Starting with this Miracle-Gro cactus soil, citrus, and palm soil. Really sandy, perfect for succulents, and also perfect for pineapple plants. Has a slight amount of nutrition in there as well. And then I know somebody said something about it being toxic or not food grade. Well, you're not eating the soil, so I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. And none of my soil mixtures here say anything about food grade. So the next step of the soil mixture for my pineapple plants, we have sphagnum peat moss here. And this provides the acidity that pineapple plants love. They love a slightly acidic soil. So 7.0 pH is neutral, but you want to have anywhere between 5.0 and a 6.5 pH for pineapple plants. So this also provides excellent water retention, and it has great nutritional values for your plants as well. So far, we have used 25% cactus soil, 25% sphagnum peat moss. The third component of the soil and 25% mixture is our cocoa coir, which has been buffered and washed already. And this is 100% natural and biodegradable. I've got a whole big mixture of it already prepared here because it does need to actually, this is so compressed down to like, I think that comes out to like 3 cubic feet, which is a lot of cocoa coir. So I've already got it prepped here, but it provides excellent water retention, especially for my container growing and the grow bags that I use. And it prevents calcium and magnesium lockout. So I'm going to be doing a quick mix now, mixing up the soil mixture really well before I add additional soil amendments. And when I refer to soil amendments, I am talking about my fertilizer and additional aeration like pumice and rice hulls. Okay, so now let's talk about our amendments. So like I said, we've got 25% of each one we talked about, the cactus soil, sphagnum peat moss, and cocoa coir. Now we're gonna add additional aeration to this nice soil mixture. We have pumice. I no longer use perlite. There's a lot of reasons for it, but perlite is actually bad for the environment. It's not biodegradable, and it's a resource that requires a lot of energy in mining and heating, and it's bad for you. It actually breaks down in the soil eventually. It adds no nutritional value to the soil at all, and it becomes basically to dust. So there's really no reason to use perlite. It just slowly breaks down over time. But pumice is a real lava rock. It's really hard, a little bit heavy, and it just provides extra aeration and really allows a lot of oxygen to get into the soil so the roots can breathe. So we're gonna add 10% pumice. We're also gonna add 10% parboiled rice hulls. And again, these things can be found in my Amazon store directly down below. That's where I get these amendments from. Parboiled rice hulls are also an excellent way to add aeration to your soil, and it's a renewable resource, biodegradable, and when it biodegrades and breaks down in your soil, it actually adds silica to the soil, which is a micronutrient and also excellent for any of your plants. And lastly, we're going to add 5% of horticulture charcoal. You can see this really fine charcoal right here, broken down. Biochar, they also call it, is another word for it, but this is also excellent for your soil. And when this breaks down, it provides extra nutrients to the soil, improves the quality of your soil, allows for better water retention, and also will help prevent overwatering. So there's a lot of great benefits to everything I just added to this soil mixture, and it's just perfect for pineapple plants. And really, it's probably great for all of their plants as well. But this is just what I perfected over the years and figured out the best soil combination recipe for any pineapple plants or bromeliads. All of my plants go through 3 transplanting stages. When I start out these plants with really no root system yet, they go into 6-inch pots. These are great, cheap 6-inch pots I get from Amazon and reuse all the time. Then we have a 3-gallon nursery pot they all go into. I know these 2 are plastic, but that's how I like to start them. Approximately 4 to 6 weeks in this pot, about 4 to 6 months in this pot until the roots come out the bottom. And then lastly, they all go into their final home of a 10-gallon pot fabric grow bag. And these are great for pineapples because again, they dry out so fast. They don't hold any water because they really don't like wet feet. So those are the 3 stages we go through here. So let me show you how we do this. We're gonna take this beautiful slip right here, sucker, and start taking these leaves off. You see the brown leaves here? They're already dying back because they want to expose these roots that have already grown in between the leaves. It's pretty amazing how healthy my plants are and how you see these roots. Look at all these roots. They're not even in the soil yet. They're just growing in between the leaves. This one is ready to be planted. Beautiful, healthy plant with super green leaves. And you see, we're just gonna keep taking them back. And as I take them back, look, more and more roots get exposed. So this is gonna be a great root out process. It's gonna be really fast because it's so it's so far along already in its growing process. And even the little root nubs underneath, you can see those right there. So I'm gonna take off one or two more sets of leaves like so. That should be pretty good. But immediately I'm going to stick this right into the dirt. So that is ready to go. Now we're just gonna take our 6-inch pot, take my custom soil mixture, fill it up pretty well here to the top. And then as I pack down the dirt, I like to pack down in the little 6-inch pot because You want to hold the sucker in place pretty well and also just allow those roots to grow out really quickly. You want to make sure you have extra moisture in these smaller pots, and it's better for you to control the environment easier in smaller pots while it roots out. So that's why I don't recommend taking this plant and putting it into the final 10 gallon. It's just a big no-no. It takes forever for a large plant to grow into a 10 gallon. It's going to take up to a year. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. You want it to grow into a smaller environment as the roots get bigger, go into the 3 gallon, and then so on. So once you see the roots at the bottom of the 3 gallon, then it goes into its final home. And then with the fabric grow bag, it allows it basically air prunes the roots and doesn't allow them to circle. So that is pretty much set up, ready to go. Sometimes I like to take a little bamboo stake, just stick it right to the side, help it stand up. And I'm gonna water it in really well, set it to the side in the full sun, and in about 3 to 4 weeks, we're gonna have a lot of roots starting to grow down into this 6-inch pot. Now let me show you how to do a transplant with a 3-gallon nursery pot to my final 10-gallon grow bag. Here is a beautiful plant. So the standard one everybody sees at the stores are called MD2 or smooth cayenne. So this is a smooth cayenne, planted it last July. You can see how big and beautiful it is right now. And again, depending on your climate, it takes about 4 to 6 months for this to fully root out in a 3-gallon. But do you see my root right there sticking out that bottom hole? Like that is a clear sign it's ready to be transplanted into its final home. So we're gonna do that today. So bring it into the shot here. Got my 10-gallon grow bag. Again, all these things can be found on Amazon. That's where I get all my stuff. And you guys always ask me about expenses and stuff. And listen guys, this is a hobby. I really enjoy it, just like any hobbies or anything you like to do. It's not really about expenses for me. It's really about growing your own homegrown and organic food. Everything I use is organic, even the fertilizer. So it's just really a therapy for me. I really enjoy gardening, and it's just so rewarding to watch your plant grow from like a tiny little thing to a big giant plant and eating your own fruit, and something that you don't ever get to see or have in stores. So if you've never grown them, you're just missing out, I gotta tell you. Okay, so now that we have this all ready to go, I'm gonna add fertilizer now, because I didn't really talk about my fertilizer yet. With the slips and suckers and starting in our small 6-inch pots, we don't need fertilizer because all you're doing is focusing on their root growth. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get them to root out and have their own root system. Now this is the fertilizer I use, organic fertilizer, Dr. Earth Exotic Blend. And you can see it's for palm, tropical, and hibiscus fertilizer, but it works well for pineapples. Doesn't say anything about pineapples on it, but really believe this is also my key to success with big, healthy, beautiful plants and fruits. Literally just read the instructions on the back here on what to do with container plants. So for a 10-gallon grow bag or container, you use a cup of fertilizer. So I've got it already measured out, ready to go. Already filled it 1/3 of the way up. What I'm gonna do is add a little bit of fertilizer. I'm gonna add more fertilizer towards the top, because when you water, everything goes down. So you don't want all your fertilizer to go right out of your grow bag right away at the bottom. So we'll just put a little bit, mix it up real well. Now, this is what I only do in my big final containers. And I also believe this is another key to success. I use spent coffee grounds from my coffee machine. Now you can see there's a little bit of real beans in there too. I like to mix them in there as well. But this, I believe, really improves the soil quality. Earthworms find their way eventually into these pots over time, especially in my rainy season. They really like it. And I know there's not as much acidity in our coffee grinds once they have been run through the coffee machine. But for some reason, I just think it helps my plants perform better. It does provide some kind of micronutrients to the soil and improve the soil structure. And I would say I probably use between 5 and 6 cups of used coffee grinds per 10-gallon grow bag. All right, also going to be adding Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate, to the soil as well. It provides additional magnesium, which helps promote big, healthy plants and a beautiful root structure as well. I use approximately 6 to 8 tablespoons of Epsom salt per 10-gallon grow bag, and That's what I start with. After 2 to 3 waterings, think about it, it's gonna dissolve and run out the bag. So you can use it periodically. That's what I do after transplanting. Once a month, I will mix 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt per gallon of water when I mix and when I feed and water my pineapple plants. So that's what you can do as well. I buy everything in bulk because I just have so many pineapple plants and I'm huge into gardening. But they do have a few different smaller options available for this too, with a link down below. Here's an excellent transplanting tip. I've already put a good amount of soil in there. I'd say probably 1/3 of the way full. I have the same exact nursery pot empty that I already have my plant I'm transplanting in. And I already inside can see the level where I have my dirt level in there. So I'm taking this empty one, putting it right inside my 10-gallon one and lining it up where it's approximately the same level as where my plant is. I can see it. This is perfect right here. So I'm gonna keep it right here in the middle because what we're trying to do is when we transplant, and I try to do this with all my plants, I don't wanna have my plant in there and start pouring dirt on the side. What I'm trying to do is avoid getting any plants and any dirt in the rosette of the leaves of the pineapple plant. That can cause heart rot, stinky heart rot. If you've ever lost a plant and it smells really bad, that's because of soil pathogens that are really harmful to pineapple plants. I've lost plenty of plants over the years. So it's really imperative that you don't get any soil in between the leaves of your pineapple plant. And doing it like this is the easiest and fastest method that I have found. Whew, all right, I'm becoming really sweaty and messy now. Part of gardening in Florida. So we have the soil level all the way up, added all the amendments, added the rest of my fertilizer. So now basically gonna spin this nursery pot slowly out. And we have a perfect transplanting hole for our plant ready to go, which is pretty awesome. Now, I'm gonna use this stuff called Mycos. It introduces pure mycorrhizae inoculate, which is basically a beneficial soil microbe, and it attaches to the roots of any plant. You can use it for any transplanting method. You can see right here, and it gets activated with water. So I put it on the bottom of my soil transplant hole, try to throw it up on the walls a little bit. There's instruction on the back on how much to use. I just firmly believe that this actually helps the plant take off faster and it doesn't suffer from transplant shock. Okay, so now we know, and we saw the root out the bottom, I know that this plant is ready to go, ready to be transplanted. And in order to transplant, what I do is turn it on its side gently, push on the sides of the pot, turn it over again, push on the sides of the pot. And now we're gonna gently lift it out and just do it as gently as you possibly can. I kind of like to do it like this, support the base of the plant with one hand. I'm lefty, so I do it opposite of you guys. But you can see the beautiful root system and it hasn't even started spinning around. It's ready to go, ready to be transplanted. And now we're just gently gonna put her in her final transplant hole. Boom. Nice and simple, easy. She is right in her place. You can see soil line is already level. You don't have to add any more soil. All we gotta do is just water it in, but that's the best way to transplant pineapple plants. And lastly, I like to use these. They start to tip over and they're not very strong plants in wind and any kind of crazy weather. So I like to use these 4-foot stakes available in my Amazon store in the description below. And I just keep the plant upright in perfect shape like this. And then when I have fruit, the fruit usually topples the plant over too, so I don't want that to happen. It just looks more aesthetically pleasing with these stakes, 4-inch ones. And I use 3 to 4 per plant. So there we go. You use 3 for that one. She's nice and steady and ready to go in her bag. Lastly, for my fabric grow bags, I like to use these pot risers, aka pot elevators. These are the most sturdy, most effective ones I've ever found. I've had these for years. They last in the Florida sun, and it keeps the plants up off the concrete and allows the water to drain out. And also, I believe it protects them from soil pathogens and other things, and bugs and ants and whatnot. So these plant risers are great. And now she's gonna go into her final home in my pineapple patch. It's exactly a week later since I cut this crown off of my pineapple. And now when you look close, you can clearly see it at the bottom here. It is very calloused over, it is very dry, it's ready to be planted. And if you have a store-bought one, which I know a lot of you guys will be starting with your store-bought ones, You might have browner tips than I do. I know that happens with store-bought ones because again, they're picked so early, but that's okay. As long as you still have green in the center, it's going to survive and live. So we've got our 6-inch pots from Amazon. Got my pre-mixture. Pre-fill the pot. Pack the dirt down nice and firmly. I like to pack it down quite a bit just so it's firm enough to plant your crown. And all I do now is I dig a little bit of a hole with my fingers, right where the crown is going to be in the center, just like so. And then I pack the dirt firmly around that centerpiece so it's nice and tight in the soil and it promotes new root growth. And we're going to keep the soil moist. I'd probably say I'm going to water it about once a week, but we're in rainy season right now. So this will stay outdoors and it's going to rain today, so I don't even need to water this. I know a lot of you guys are going to ask me about the water rooting method. Highly recommend you don't do that. Just stick these guys straight into the dirt. The water rooting method is actually an elementary school thing that shows kids how plants grow and how roots grow. And putting it in the water, you also run the risk of heart rot. And when you take it out of the water and put it into the soil environment, it actually has to start all over again because you had water roots growing and now you have soil roots that are going to start from the scratch. So really, just get it straight in the dirt. Use the soil, this method where it calluses over, get it in the dirt, and in about 2 to 4 weeks, you're gonna have a ton of roots and they're gonna be poking through the bottom holes. And since you guys last saw this, a whole other week has gone by. We have another giant pineapple fruit ready to be picked. It was literally leaning on its side like this morning, which means it's totally ready to come off that stalk. Look at that. That is going to be amazing, juicy. You will never get anything like this in the store, so go out there, grow your own pineapples. Don't forget about my Amazon store with all the supplies down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll answer it for you. Until next time, follow your dream and keep on gardening.